Welcome to our ArchiCAD tutorial where we embark on a journey to explore the timeless art of traditional roof design. In today's digital age, the fusion of heritage and technology takes center stage as we delve into the intricate world of architectural design. ArchiCAD, the innovative tool of choice for architects worldwide, empowers us to breathe life into historical roofing techniques, seamlessly blending past and present. Join me as we unlock the secrets of pitched roofs, essential components of traditional architecture that stand as a testament to craftsmanship and culture. Witness the magic of visual construction, where each tweak and adjustment transforms as digital canvas into a masterpiece of design. In this tutorial, I will guide you through steps to create stunning roofs that pay homage to tradition while embracing the cutting-edge capabilities of ArchiCAD. Whether you are an inspiring architect, a seasoned designer, or simply someone with an appreciation for a beauty of the past, this tutorial is your gateway to reimagining traditional roof design. So prepare to be inspired, educated, and captivated as we embark on this journey of creativity and innovation. Without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, to get started with this demonstration, I have a sample project open in your screen here. To follow along with this tutorial, check the link below to get this file. So once you have it open, let's open the plan view of this project. I'll just go here under the tabs and then open the ground floor, or you could easily go to the project view or project navigator and find the view or the plan from the view list there. And then I'll need to go ahead and activate the roof tool on the design tool palette in your right side of your screen. Let's activate the roof tool, and then the most important settings for the roof in order for us to achieve what we want is the geometry method and construction method. Under geometry method, we should have the multi-plane command active, or just hit G as a shortcut in your keyboard. Under construction method, we need to have the regular heap or slash gable command also active, or shortcut is C for that. And then if we move ahead to the structure section, we need to have it basic. By default, it will come as a composite. We need to set this to be a basic, and then the building material should be under timber roof because we are dealing with roofs. Okay, we can move ahead and go to the section for the roof pivot height and pitch, and set our pitch to be 20 degrees. And another thickness, let's set this to be 150 thick, which is the thickness of the profile of our roof. So once we have all those settings done, it's the time for us to place our roof. So let's first click or pick the first corner of the roof, which is going to be here, and then diagonally, as I'm drawing from the first corner, I will click to complete the placement of my roof, just like that. Okay, the next step is to put this in a 3D. Let's just activate the 3D window in order for us to set the height or the height of the roof. We could hit O to activate the orbit command or orbit tool, so that you can orbit around your project like that. The next thing that I need to do, like I said, is to set the height of our roof. But by the look of things, it's sitting on the right height. I think I'm happy with the way it sits. It's been linked to the ground floor, but it is the base offset is 3 meters, which is 3000 millimeters. I'm using millimeters for this demonstration, but this depends from country to country. So if you want to change the unit standards, you would go to the options and then project preferences and then work units to set up your standards of units. Okay, so just hit cancel like that. And then you could also, maybe if you want to set this to be not visible on your floor plan, because if you open the floor plan, it's visible. Maybe you don't want to see it in your floor plan. You want to key it on the upper floor or upper story, which is going to be story 1, and then it will give you this warning information. It says, as a result of the last operation, elements have been created and or have changed their position on currently unseen stories. Currently unseen stories is the upper floor where we've keyed in this to be. I would hit continue because it's deliberate. So if you check on 3D, or if you go back to 3D now, the roof changes the position because its offset base height is 3 meters or 3000 millimeters. So I need to set this to be 0. Set this to be 0, it will go back to the position. I think it's this a great way of controlling and managing the position of your elements. Need to be linked with stories. Make sure every time when you're placing an element, understand the relationship according to all the stories in the project file. Okay, so I would hit O in your keyboard to activate orbit like I did previously, so that I can orbit around my model like that. The other thing that I want to do is to change the building material or the surfaces of my wall because it looks disturbing just to have bricks like that. So I could easily select one of the walls and then go to the options menu and then find element attributes. Let's open building materials here. I'm going to change the surface of the building materials of the element that is being selected. By default, ArchiCAD, if you open the building materials window, having selected something or element within your project, it will highlight that particular element building materials. As you could see here, we have brick, structural, solid material being highlighted. So what I need to do is to change its appearance or physical appearance, which is this surface tab. Let's just change this to be, I'm going to find a paint or a white paint for this. Let's just go for titanium white and then hit OK. It will change all my walls to that color or surface. Perfect. So once we're done with that, we need to move forward again to our roof. So our roof has 2 segments. So I've created the first segment, but it doesn't go all the way there. We need to trim it off. But to trim it off, I'm going to go back to the floor plan view. This time around on the upper floor, which is where the roof is being located. Perfect. Now we have this. I'm going to select it and then Control-Shift-D in your keyboard to carry a copy. That's a shortcut for a copy. Drag a copy in ArchiCAD. So I would pick this point and then place again on the same point because I just want them to be sitting on the same point. Once I'm done with that, I'll click again that point. This time around on the pad palette, I'm going to activate offset all edges, and then I could offset now this roof to somewhere here. I would want it to be on the midpoint of the main roof. In order for us to identify the midpoint here, before you operate or before you do the command of offset all edges, let's say you have to hover your cursor above the line. It will give you this line to indicate this is the midpoint of this distance. So now I need to go back and select this point. Oh, it disappeared. Okay, there we go. Here it is. Go back to this and then offset all edges to this midpoint. Perfect. I would also need to do it for the reference line, but I would rather leave it within the same position with the main roof. Once we're done with that, I need to subtract this roof from the main roof because we are having 2 separate segments. So this is going to be in a different degree. Let's come here under the roof pivot height and pitch and set this to be 40. So the first one is on 20 degrees. This one is going to be on 40. So if you check on 3D, the results, we have something like this, but it's weird. We're still working on it. Let's go back again. I need to use this roof element to subtract, like I said. So I'll select that one and then pick one of the points to activate the pad palette. On the pad palette this time around, we're going to use subtract from polygon. I'll activate that, and then I can use the point, or I could use the geometry for the second or secondary roof element, which is this one. I'll pick the first point and then diagonally as I'm drawing to specify the second point to create a hole in the main roof. So if you check on 3D, we have something like that. Perfect. So now I can zoom in here or pen by press and hold your wheel, your mouse wheel, your mouse wheel, sorry sorry about that, and then I can take this secondary roof and bring it down by clicking on this point and then activate drag. Let's just bring it down all the way to there. Perfect. That's what I wanted. And then once we're done with that, let's appreciate the result we created already. So this is one type of the roof that we wanted to create. But I want to take this thing, this design into the next stage or to the next level. So what I need to do is to select this roof, right click, and let's split it into singles, right? And then hit OK to complete your splitting. So now I have separate planes for this roof. So if I orbit by hitting O in your keyboard like that and then orbit, you'd see we have separate planes for that. That gives us an opportunity to now further modify the geometry of our roof. So for example, I can pick this corner now and then bring it forward or change its value. It will be much easier to do it on a 2D plane or on a floor plane. So let's go to the plane view for the roof, and then we can select this one and then pick this point. Let's indicate or activate the move node or move point in your pet palette, and then we can bring it all the way to there, or we can also do the same to the other side. I will do the same also to this one. Sorry, whatever one. If we check on 3D, that's what the result you could achieve. So you could see this is kind of bit tedious. The perfect way of doing it, let's just hit Ctrl Z to undo the split. Yes, the perfect way to do it is to select this point, and then we have these points or tools to modify the geometry of our roof. I would start with this stretch horizontal range so that I can move it all the way to the level of this point, and then do the same to the other side as well. Pick this point and then reference with this level, with this point. Perfect. So we've created a separate or individual, another different geometry of our roof. So the question is, how can we detail this further and make it functional? So I've seen we need to cover this openings created by this kind of style. So in order for us to do that, we have to use a wall tool. I can do it on the plane view under the roof plane. All right, let's go back and activate the roof plan, and then activate the wall tool like I said, and then from here we need to do the geometry settings of our wall. I would click and hold on this arrow and then activate the first command. Then let's change the reference location to be outside face, and we can play around with the material. In this case, I'm looking for something because this is let's just find timber roof like we did for the other ones, and then the surface for this is going to change. I'm going to override the surface for this under the wall default settings. You could access this information by hitting Ctrl T once you've selected your element or once you've activated the tool. And then what we need to do is to type for, I'm looking for kind of a floorboards, right? Let's activate this one and then make sure all the surfaces are being linked to change them all once automatically, and then hit OK. Let's draw our wall. Oh, we could change also the thickness of it. Instead of having it 300, I would make it 100. Once you have it 100, it's the time for us to place it. If you click one of the points from here all the way to there, I don't think it's straight. Let's say undo and start all over again. Make sure you can restrict the vertical mode by hold shift in your keyboard. You see now if I can move my cursor all over or around without changing, but if I leave or I release the shift, you see now I have free movement for this. So I want to make sure it's straight by holding shift in your keyboard, and then I can draw all the way and place this corner. Perfect. So if you check on 3D, this is what you have. Okay, so I'm gonna trim off the unnecessary content from our wall. So I'll select it, right click, and then connect to bring solid element operations. Once we have this, automatically it will add the selected element as a target, we need to find the operator, which is going to be this roof, and add as an operator. The operation is going to be a subtraction with upward extrusion, because we want to trim off the upward extent or content of our wall. So I'm going to change this to be subtraction with upward extrusion, and then if you hit execute, it will clean up that. So that's basically what I wanted, but I need to have a bit of an overhang here. So we can select this and then click one of the edge here. I'll click one of the edge here to activate the pet palette. On the pet palette, let's activate the offset edge, and then we can move this by 300, something like that. Oh, by the way, you'd see now it becomes this mess. So I would undo, and then instead of doing it while it's like this, I'm going to right click. Okay, let me minimize first the solid element operation. I don't want to confuse you. So I'm going to right click, and then let's find split into single planes, and then hit OK, because this is not reversible. Then we can now move or pick this corner or this edge and make it 300, same as that side. Perfect. So now we have an overhang onto this area, just like that. Perfect. So we could again do the same to the other side, right? Let's come here and then select the element, pick the edge, and make sure the offset edge is active, and hit 300. Enter. Do the same to the other one. This one we could just reference with the first one, just like this. So we need to mirror a copy of the wall that is from that side. So I'm gonna go back to the ground floor or to the plane view, select the wall, Control Shift M to activate mirroring a copy. I'm going to use this midpoint to mirror a copy to the other side. This mirroring is going to be on a vertical mode, like that. And then if you check on a 3D, you would have that as well. So we need to select this and add it as a target on our solid element operation window. Then both two planes should be our operator, and then execute. Perfect. So we have that on our design. Let me just collapse or get rid of the solid element operation. This is what we created so far. So isn't not that detailed. We need to start looking at creating trusses and then creating the finishes for this. To move forward to the second part of this tutorial is to create a detailed roof structure for this complex roof design. In order for us to achieve that effortlessly, we'll have to split our roofs into single planes. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll select the roofs and right click on the spacebar and go down below and find split into single planes, and then go ahead and hit OK in order for you to complete this operation. Once you are done with the splitting of your roofs, let's open the roof plans and do the magic of truss creation. I'll hit the roof, and then let's make sure we select all the planes. I'll select each planes from the segments and activate or unactivate the suspend group, because all these members are being grouped. But in order for this operation to work efficiently, we would have to activate the suspend group once we've selected all the elements. And then go here under the design tool, design menu. Let's find roof extras and roof maker to open the roof wizard settings. On this window, the first settings are for rafters. We have to check the create rafter box and then set the dimensions of the lumbers of your truss. This differ from country to country depending on the region you are. In this case, mine, I'll leave the cross section of the truss to be 80 by 160. The eaves angles, I'm going to change it to be a rectangle, and then from here I can also include the soffit in my roof depending on what I want. Make sure again to check the layers are appropriate. In this case, I don't have a specific layer for the roof truss, so I'll keep it under the shell roof layer. And then you can go ahead and change also the surface for your roof trusses and do that. In this case, let's move forward to the second tab of settings, which is for the beams. Also make sure the create beam box has been checked. You have two options to choose from. We have color beams and type beams. On the type beams, this is the graphic that you would get in terms of your truss, but I would like to remain under the color beams. And then these are the dimensions for the color beams. In this case, I would set it also to be 60 by 200, depending on your settings as well. Let's move forward to the next settings for the purlins, and then also make sure the create reach purlins is active. Make sure also the dimensions are consistent, and check the box for purlins between rafters, and then also check the box for create eaves purlins, depending on what you want. So this, it can be checked or unchecked, and then set the dimensions for each of these components. I'll move on to the trimmers. Trimmers, also make sure the box has been checked and then the dimensions are consistent for your lumbers. And if you check also the reach box, and also the create hip rafters and valley rafters box is being checked. Make sure also to set the eave angle to be rectangular in order for you to be consistent in the trimming of your eaves. Once you're done with these settings, it's the time to do the magic. It's to press this magic button, which is OK, and wait for the result. Because these elements are being keyed or linked to a different or unseen story, this window will pop out to warn us as a result of the last operation. Elements have been created and or have changed their position on currently unseen stories, which is going to be the ground, as you can see here. Let's hit continue. There we go. But we can see some of the elements of our roof structure being placed here. So if we check on 3D to check the result, let's hit O to orbit our truss structure like that. I can come here and let's set a separate layer for our truss structure in order for us to control and manage the visibility of this element. To do that, let's go to the options, elements, attributes, and find layer settings there. I would go ahead and find the layer for the shell roof, which is this, and then I'll act as if I want to rename this. Let's just rename so that I can access the text for the roof or for that layer, and then I'll right click on it and then copy and hit on new to create a fresh the layer. I would control V to paste that and then replace the shell with truss, and then hit OK. It's a smart way of creating layers within the default ArchiCAD layer structure. Or if you have your own layer system, make sure you are being consistent of creating new layers that were not part of the previous system. So I would hit OK, and I'll make sure also the layer is active under the layer combination of drafting, because that's the current layer combination that I'm working on. As you could see down below here, we have a layer combination of drafting active. So I would make sure that layer for the truss roof is active. Make sure you switch it on and then update it on the layer combination that is appropriate. Hit OK once you're done with that. So I would select all the trusses, all the truss members, by selecting one of the members, because I know all the members that have been created once ArchiCAD will automatically group them. So if you uncheck the suspend groups or Alt G, you would see all the members have been grouped except the top part, because this roof has two segments, so they are like that. Let's select or come here under layers and find the truss layer for this. Okay, so now I can manage the visibility of my elements within file. I could select the roof, right click, then find layers and then hide this layer in order for me to appreciate the truss system that I've already created. Hit O to orbit in your keyboard like that to appreciate what you've created so far in terms of your truss maker. Everything looks pretty wonderful and I'm impressed with the result already. So let's go back and Control L or to bring our layer system, or you can go back again to the options menu, elements, attributes, and then layer settings. The shortcut is Control L. So if you open that and then bring in all the elements, I'll just select this as a shortcut, select the layer combination, and then I'll hit OK as a shortcut. That will give me all my elements. Let's move forward again and put more details to this roof to create a 3D detailed or a realistic roof finish, because as it is now, it doesn't have finish. This acts as a roof structure, but it's not a finish. So to do that, I would select all the roof planes again and then make sure the suspend group is active. I don't know, that could work while the elements are being grouped. I don't know. Let me just try it with you guys here. If you go to the design menu and then go down to design extras and bring in accessories, remember or note that in order for you to access this feature, you'd have to download and install the ArchiCAD goodies for whatever version that you are using. This is a free add-on or a free plugin from the GRAPHISOFT website. I'll put the link on the description in order for you to download and install that feature. It's very handy in terms of dealing with the or detailing further your roof that we are trying to do here. So I would go to design accessories, roof accessories, right? And then I would see there's nothing here to load because the library for this accessories is not loaded. So let's hit cancel and load that. Go to file and open the libraries and objects for the library manager and wait for it to open. Within the library manager, let's hit add, and then to locate the accessories library, it's been installed within your PC local disk. So I would open this PC or this computer, and then under Windows, let's find program files. I'm using Windows for this. I don't know for the, but it should be easy to follow along if you're using a Mac for that. So let's scroll down and find ArchiCAD or GRAPHISOFT rather, and open that and find the version that you are using. Because I have installed different versions from 22 here, they will be listed here. But if you have just one version, it will be the one that is available there. So I would open ArchiCAD 26. There we go. We have accessories library folder there to load. Just select it and then choose. Go down here and then choose. You would see now it's been loaded here. Let's just move ahead and hit OK in order for us to access that roof accessories, roof surfacer, to place the roof finish for our detailed roof. Let's wait for a bit. Once we have the roof accessories library loaded, let's go ahead and create the roof finish. So I'll go here on the design menu and then go back again here on the design extras, accessories, roof accessories. Now you'll be seeing the roof surfacer object active there. So I would go under the roof surfacer settings section and change the standing steam to be Italian tiles and 3D detail level to be detailed. Then move down to 2D representation. I would change the background to be a window background. Then change the fill pen to be something of your choice. In this case, I would use color 2 from the color table, and then the contour pen also I would use color 2. You could check the preview for your 2D if you want. So I'll move down again to the randomized surfaces. I don't want the surfaces to be randomized for the roof finish. I just want to keep one finish. So I would uncheck this box and then keep it under surface paint scent beige. Or I could change this to be maybe a black kind of color, which is going to be paint. Let's just type paint anthracite. I don't know, this name gives me a headache to pronounce it, guys. So I would hit on that, and then once we're done with everything, oh, by the way, I want to change also the distance between the finish and the what you call, this will be the height of your pair lines if you have your pair lines active. So in this case, I'll just say 0 for the sake of this demonstration. Let's say 0, and then go ahead, make sure again this is under the layer that is appropriate. For this, I don't have a layer for the roof finish, but I just can keep it under the shell roof temporarily before I create the layer for, or specific layer for the roof finish. Let's hit OK to create magic. Boom, that's what we've created so far. If you look at the edge here, you could see we see the edges of this top segment of our roof. I don't think this is the great way of representing this. We could change it or achieve this by dropping down the roof element, but for the sake of this demonstration, let's just leave it the way it is. It looks great. I don't have any issues with that. But if you want to detail it further or to have it functional, you would have to come down and drop the roof tool for this. In order for that, let's just do it together for the sake of you understanding it. So I'll go to the roof plan. In order for us to achieve the best result, I could create a section or just repurpose one of the elevation view markers on the plan here. I would select this one. Let's just use drag in the pad palette and drag it right on the center of our roof structure. Then right click to open this elevation with current view settings. So that will give us that elevation section kind of. So what I wanted to achieve here is to drop this element or the top part of the roof down a bit, but that will be cheating because as it is, it looks seamlessly continuous and joined the way we want. I think let's just leave it the way it is. It looks great. I thought I would fix that, but for the sake of this, it looks great. I'm going to go back to the 3D and detail further the roof, because we would need to put now the ridges for all the elements or for all the ridges in our roof. In order for us to do that, there is an object called a ridge that we can use. Again, I wanted also to indicate that you could use a beam tool to create your roof ridges, more especially if it's a complex roof complex roof with complex ridges to place, because the method of using an object or a ridge object is manual. But if you have a roof that has too many ridges, it's going to give you a headache. Hence, the beam tool will come handy at that. This I would explain it or demonstrate it in a separate video, because here I want us to focus on creating best result for this kind of roof design. So in order for us to place the ridge to go back to our roof plan and do that, I would move back this elevation marker where it's supposed to be. Perfect. And then let's go here on the design tool palette and move down to find object tool and then open the object settings or window or that. So I'm going to search for the ridge. Just type the ridge on the search bar there, and then there we go. We have the ridge tile for the version 26. Depending on the version that you're using, any object, it will be coded at the end with the version or the number represent the version that you are using. In this case, I'll come here on the custom settings under 3D detailed level, set this to be full, and yeah, that's basically what I can set temporarily for the settings as of now. I would make sure down below the layers is the layer that is appropriate. In this case, I don't have a specific layer for the ridge, but I'll just keep it under the shell roof temporarily. I can create later a separate layer for this, but for this demonstration, let's just hit OK and place it on this corner like that. So I would select this, the element, and make sure it's been positioned. I'll pick it from the midpoint here and position it like that. Pick again that point. Let's rotate it. I'm going to rotate it to in line with the angle of the ridge like that. Make sure you stretch it to span on the length of your ridge. Okay, so if we check this on 3D, you would find, oh, there we go, we are on other side. I'll just orbit like that. In order for us to achieve placing this successfully, we would have to hide the layer, or hide the layer for the roof finish. I'll just right click, then layers, then hide. Perfect. Because the ridge also been hide because it's the same layer with the roof finish. So I would Control L as a shortcut for layer settings, and then to bring them back, I'll quickly just select the layer combination that I've been working on, and then hit OK. That will bring back my elements. So I would select this and then maybe put it under the roof structure, the truss, because I want to isolate them in one. Okay, so now I can go ahead and right click, select the roof finish and right click to hide like that. Perfect. What I need here, gentlemen, is to hide the roof surfacer. In order for us to place the ridge efficiently, we'll have to isolate our elements, and to do that, let's create a specific layer for the ridge, for the roof finish, and then we have the specific layer for the trusses. I would Control L to access the layer settings for this. Control L, and then let's type roof, and I would like I did the trick to rename. As if I'm renaming this, I just want to access this information or the text. Right click and copy, create on new, then Control V and paste that. In this instead of a truss, I will replace this with a ridge. Then hit OK. I would also create another layer. Let's Control V to paste that text, which is just the format. We just want the format. This time around, I would say the finish, because that's the finish for the roof. Hit OK, and make sure all the elements, all the layers that you are creating are active under the layer combination of drafting, because that's the layer combination that we are using to model our project. So if you guys to check, they are off. So I would just update them and then hit update here. Let's hit OK to complete that. So select your elements and then make sure you assign them appropriate layers. For this, I would say let's just type roof, and this is going to be a ridge, and the objects for the roof surfacer, I'll just select all of them. Oh, okay, like that. Set them to be the roof finish. Perfect. Now we can come here. While we have the roof finish selected, let's right click and then layers, hide that. Perfect. Because in order for us to see this, we want the points for the roof in order to determine the angle. You could go ahead, because we have the angle for this roof, which is 20 degrees. The roof pitch for this. But if you say object settings and then set the inclination to be the same or equivalent to the roof, that doesn't work. I don't know why ArchiCAD. You see, you could see here they are not on the same line. So you create this manual. So I would let's just go ahead and hide also the layer for the trusses. Right click and then hide the layer in order to have a clear window. So I select this object and then pick on this purple hotspot to activate the drag. Let's just drag it right on this corner. Perfect. So you could see they're not in line, even though they are on the same pitch degree. But I would also use manual methods to place this. Once I've set one, I can now mirror a copy or multiply it along, because along other segments, because they are on the same pitch degree. So let's just pick this hotspot again, the purple hotspot. I don't know if you can able to see it from your screen. There is a hotspot there. Click on it, and then this time around, let's activate move node. What I want is to move it right. Let's just zoom it. Oh, sorry, right on this point. Okay. Oh, it didn't go the way I wanted. Let's just fix it. zoom in again here, find the point there. Clearly you could see our ridge go beyond. We're supposed to end here. Let's go back to the roof plane and fix that. Where is it? Make sure the ridge is active. Oh, it went to a different story. Let's check where's the linked story. It's linked on ground. Let's change this to be on story 0 and set this to 0. Okay. Oh, that will mean we have to reposition it again. I'll pick the spot and then make sure you change it to drag, place it on point, go back to the roof plan in order for you to see your, I don't know why it's not showing here. Okay, let's go and check it under the, what you call, under the ground floor. I'm going to bring it back, but in order for me to determine that distance, oh, here it is, I would select it, stretch it all the way to here. Let's check it on 3D. Should be fine. All right, now you could see it's inlined nicely or perfectly. Yeah, so we would have to bring all elements back again by Control L and then activate the drafting layer combination and hit OK. Perfect. That's what you have now. So I think the position, it can be changed. Let's select this and then make it on the bottom, the base offset. Let's make it 2.9. I think it's great. Sitting here, I think it's great. What I just need to do is to open its settings and change the surfaces to be consistent with the other roof finish. Hit OK. There we go. I'm impressed. Okay, so let's mirror a copy to the other side or to all parts of the roof ridges. So what I'll do, come here, Control Shift M. I would use this midpoint to copy it to the other side, and then I can now select all of this. By adding a selection, is just hold Shift in your keyboard and click on the element. Make sure they're grouped, and then Control Shift M to activate mirroring a copy in your keyboard. I'll use this midpoint as a center to mirror it to the other side. I could select all of them and group them all of them. All right, and if we check on 3D, you have something like this. We are left with one ridge at the top there. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll pick parameters of this, link this to the upper floor. You cannot link an element with before placing it. As you could see, the linked story is grayed out. So let's go to the ground and then place it here. Select it, open its settings. On the settings, what I want is to change the inclination, pitch or angle to be 0, because now we're using a straight ridge. And then would hit OK. Or so also this, we would say 0 instead of 45 to have just a horizontal ridge like that. And then hit OK. I would pick this and drag it. Let's drag it from here. I don't know, I can't able to see the pitch. Let's stretch it from here to there. I think that's the edge of our roof. This side, I'm not sure, it's supposed to be there. In order for us to position the height again, let's set this to the upper story. So then we move on to the roof. Then we can now assign this, stretch this accordingly, something like that, because remember we have an overhang here of 300. So I think that's the one. Yes, but it looks too much. Oh, it's invisible because the height for it. I can go back. Let's set the height to be maybe 1.5, just for the sake of making it visible. Okay, if it doesn't show up, let's use a section or elevation. Let's just bring this elevation here to act as a section. and we have it open already. Let's just bring it there. You would perfectly see your element here. Let's pick this point all the way to there. The other part is missing, but ArchiCAD likes to do this, so you'd have to figure out to fix that. So if we check on 3D, oh, there we go. I think we've overstretched that. I don't know, we can stretch it on 3D. Let's check. Oh yeah, it's possible. Okay, and then stretch it on this side as well. Stretch on the side all the way to there. Perfect. So if you look at all the details have been placed, now what's remaining is to create the flashing or the badge for this area, for this top part. Let's go ahead and do that. I will go back again to the roof plan. In this case, let's bring this guy back to his position. All right, I would activate again the object tool, open its settings. This time around I would search for the badge board. Oh, here we go. Select it. I will choose the style 3 on the top board style. There are not really much of the settings you can do with this one, so it's just to change the roof angle to be equal of or to be equivalent to your roof design. So in this case it's going to be 40 because the upper roof it's at 40 degrees pitch. And then hit OK to apply. So I'm going to zoom in here and then place it there. Make sure it's on 90 degrees, just like that. Then Control D to move it somewhere there. You could stretch it all the way by picking the purple hotspot. Stretch it all the way to the center or the midpoint of your ridge. If you check on 3D, where is it? Oh, perfect, we have it here. Now we need to position it accordingly in terms of the height. I could just do it on 3D here. Let's pick this point and then make sure we are on the yellow part. The yellow guideline indicates we are in vertical mode, and then we can hold shift in your keyboard to restrict it to that, and then I can just move it to the top like that. It needs to be perfectly positioned, so I will come here and then make sure it's on the same edge with the ridge. Perfect. Okay, I think we can move it back again to avoid cluttering. Perfect. Now it looks great. It looks great. I don't know, I think we need to mirror it because this side is supposed to be the inside of our board. So I would Control M to let's pick just one of the points and then activate the mirror like that. Move it back to the edge of that. If you check on 3D, you would have this kind because it has to close on top here to create more like a flashing of your design. That looks fantastic. Now let's mirror a copy to the other side by Control Shift M in your keyboard and use this horizontal mode. Perfect. I could just do it to mirror it to the other side as well. But before mirroring, let's group them like that. Control Shift M again and use the midpoint of your roof, which is this to there. I can just select all of them and group if I want. Check on 3D, you have that. Voila. Oh, this side needs to be positioned accordingly. Let's do exactly that. We have grouped them, but let's ungroup to select these ones separately. Control D, move it from this point to the edge of the ridge. Voila. Perfect. I hope you find today's tutorial valuable. If you like to support what I'm doing, please consider sharing this with your colleagues, mates, or friends, and tell me your thoughts. I wish you the best in your endeavors. Thank you.